All right, all right, all right. Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome back to The Real Precious. Thank you guys so much for being here. I see the chat is already a little lit. It's already a little lit in the chat. I see y'all. Ricky Webster, thank you so much for being here. He says, hey, Precious, and to all in the chat. Grooming and Reviews 101. Hey, 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 hey. I see you're back. I see you're back. God happened to me. Good evening, love. Thank you so much for being here. Ricky said, hit the like button. Okay, y'all already know what to do. Hit the like button. Te gusta. Hit that button because you know you're going to like it tonight. It's going to be a good one. Actual King Smith, my host, is in the chat. Thank you guys so much for pulling up. I really, really appreciate it. Happy Monday. We are back. Mr. King Smith, how are you this evening? Hold on now. We can't hear you now. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Hey, let's try this again. What up, Precious? Thanks for having me on. I'm doing good. I am newly fresh off of the weekend in which my mother and my youngest sister came up from Alabama, Roll Tide, to enjoy the festivities of my daughter's 16-year-old high tea birthday party that we had over Friday. So having some family come up to enjoy that was a pretty good cause. I spent some time with my lady as well, so she got a chance to meet the moms. All right. And
Oh,
now I'm coming into
man,
this
getting a
thing
little
fresh
spicy.
this Monday. So,
Okay, she got the
yeah.
meat. She got the meat, moms. I hope that was a
Yeah.
good meeting. I'm sure she'll comment in the chat just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. I'm sure she had a good time. Definitely happy belated birthday, but I think I said happy birthday to your daughter Kay. I don't want to say the whole thing. I don't know if you want her government out there, but I love her name, and I do be wanting to say it, but I'm like, I don't know if you want everybody to know.
I don't mind
Um,
saying it because I put her out on my social media. My daughter's name is Castle. You got King and Castle. But hey, I appreciate you, doing the social media thing and,
Yeah, cause you
asking
know,
and whatnot.
people don't they just don't be having your best interest, we gotta protect our own, so but yes, happy birthday, Castle, she's a beautiful young lady, and, you guys are doing a great job, and I saw you guys' pictures, and it looked like you had a great time, great weekend,
It was.
so I'm glad you guys had a good one. She said, "I loved meeting his mom and baby sister." Okay, okay, now she good in with the mom, she when you good with moms, you know. Black Lexicon is starting already. He said your topics be triggerationing me. Is that a new word we're using? Triggerationing. Well, tonight's going to be a good one. As you guys can see, it says, "Do women know their place?" That's going to be our last topic. We do have a couple of things lined up, but if you haven't already, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this live with somebody that may be wanting to watch something on YouTube, get a different perspective. You guys know on Monday nights we have the men. So I believe Hank will be coming after his show, and then whoever else falls in line, falls in line. You guys know that I dropped the chat. So if you'd like to be on the show, definitely hit the link. I do have to see your face in the back chat, even if you do not want to show your face throughout the show. Um, but I do want to start by saying that tonight's show is sponsored by JECreativehosting.com. So you guys need a new website, you need someone to host it, definitely go on over there. Their discount code for you is HCM22. So definitely check out JECreativehosting.com. But we're going to start off with a city girl. We just going to hop on into it with a city girl. I saw on social media this video I'm going to play. This is actually Young Miami, the young lady who has Carisha Please, the young lady who is booed up with Diddy from time to time, whatever they want to be on any day ending in Y. We don't know. Um, but I saw this video on social media. I think it popped up today, and it's almost like she wants to talk about this. I think somebody commented on it, and then she said, "Hey, let's talk about it." So let's talk about it. I'm gonna put it up. There is no sound on the video because, child, they in somewhere that might get me some copyright strikes if you hear the music. So I had to silence it, but definitely pay close attention to what's going on here. Okay. Okay, just, you know, just pay attention. Just pay attention. He throwing up the ones, y'all. He throwing and then I mean, you see where they're at. Rolling Loud, I believe, is where they were backstage or behind stage or Rolling Loud. That was Carisha's son. Yes, child, the baby, the baby. Okay, yes, the baby. He was in there partying with the best of them. Okay, he was partying with the best of them. Now I want to play this other clip so we can see the mixed message in all of this.
I'm on like with a W, like I'm on.
What if Summer comes to you as pretty as she is and says, "Mom, I want to be a city girl"?
She ain't gonna be no city girl.
Summer ain't allowed to be no city girl?
I want her raised totally different. Like I really want her to just be like, like level-headed, a schoolgirl. I kind of was raised different, so I don't want to raise her up how I was raised. So, I'm a city girl, ain't nothing wrong with it, but I don't want that for my.
Why are you doing this to me already, Precious? You starting early, I see.
Early, out the gate.
Out the gate.
Out the gate. When I saw the video of her son, I had been seeing that second video. I saw that when she was on what's his name? Jason what's his name?
Jason Lee?
Lee, yes.
Is that him?
He had did an interview with her a while ago, and I saw that. But the clip where her son just came out today, I believe. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, so she don't want her daughter to be a city girl, although she's a city girl, and I'm pretty sure the hashtag Carisha Please and hashtag Young Miami is everywhere that her daughter probably can access, even if it's not being accessed at home. But still, she would be okay if her daughter wasn't a city girl, but she has her son in a club throwing stacks around adults, and he doesn't even look like he is. I think he's 10. I believe he's 10. So it's like, what's really going on? Like, what do you? Okay, so we had a problem because they was pushing the agenda to our children. Now you got your kid in the club with you, turning up.
And I'm curious to this question too. So I'm the father of one daughter, 16. I only have one girl, right? I'm wondering if I had each gender, and I said each gender. That's why I'm gonna stick my 10 toes down on. If I'd be hypocritical and have a different message for either one, right? I can't answer that because I only have one. Because if you take a look at this snapshot, right, she's saying while she identifies as a whore, those were her words,
with
right?
a W.
With a W, and she identified as a city girl. She don't want her daughter raised up that way. Yet you got the son looking real comfortable, making it rain at Rolling Loud. All right. So what type of person would you want for your son? What type of person would you want for your daughter? Is there a clear distinction in that? Would she want her son to date somebody that she's trying to raise her daughter up to be, or does she want her son to date somebody like her? Because hey, she don't see nothing wrong in herself.
Her son gonna be dating them big booty hoes that's in the club or wherever they at. That's who her son is gonna be attracted to. Now, what he's going to be attracted to as far as long-term relationship, I don't know. But if you're seeing naked women, then you're already exposed to that type of attraction. Naked older women. That's what you're exposed to. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you, Sean? Grooming and Reviews.
Hey, how are you?
Good evening. Good evening.
I'm telling you,
doing well on yourself.
I'm thankful for social media because it exposes this stuff live and in color.
Yeah. So Sean and Live and Reviews have joined. It's Peter. Peter?
Yeah, Peter. It's fine.
Okay. So what did you want to add to this?
Oh, if I brought my kid to the club, my girlfriend, wife, baby mama, she would chop my cojones off so fast. I can't believe they even dare to do that. Oh my God.
It's like how he even get in Ain't that in a song? How did you,
That's the
how did
point.
you
Like, how the
get in?
Listen, back in the day, yeah, I get it. Early 2000, we always used to
They
sneak
snuck him through the
in.
back door.
Yeah, we always had it. Like, I remember my dad used to know the owner of the bar, get in, and you used to know the club guy. Back in Greece, it was a little different because it was no age limit till recently. So I got used to drinking very young. I was no alcoholic or anything like that. I had to tell my grandmother who I live with, like, where I'm being and all that stuff. But I was not, a 6-year-old going to the club. I was like 15, 16, maybe 17 tops. But now I'm seeing like even 5-year-olds going down there, even changing their diapers in the middle of the dance floor.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Wow.
Ooh. Oh man.
Sean, what would you like to add?
I mean, look at the leader.
Who
The
is the
mother.
leader, really?
The mother right now.
Mm.
She's leading it. For one, if there was another leader, then if the father's the leader, then look at the father. I don't care whoever the leader is. Look at the leader. Because if the father is allowing the mother to take him into a club and do those things, then he's guilty of the guidance that the child is receiving, whether it be the daughter or the son. And if he's prescribing, or subscribing to that, then, to each his own, but it's not something that I can advocate or condone.
I'm not sure
And
who would.
I mean, obviously, the people who are doing it. There are a lot of people
Well,
who would.
I mean, outside of, because children who grow up with parents in the industry, realistically, they are going to be exposed to some type of industry. Now, I don't think that they should just be dropped right in the middle of it. I don't think it's like, yeah, come on, son, come to the club with me. Come, to this event with me. I don't think it should be like that. But the exposure that he is getting is very dangerous.
Well, let me say this. We're speaking about a city girl who sings songs like this, but we also have an example of Little Boosie and his son some months or years ago. I can't remember how long ago it was, and him exposing his son to the strippers. I don't know if you recall that story, and neither one of those circumstances do I advocate or do I support. But to your question, who does? They do. I'm in the industry. I've been in the industry, from both of the standpoints, the artists as well as, behind the scenes. And that does not negate morality. But the industry does not highlight or embrace morality. So I'm not surprised. It doesn't embrace integrity. So I'm not surprised. But I call it like I see it, and I don't see it to where it's something that I can condone. People say, "Don't judge me," not to place judgment, and my pushback is this whole world is built on, especially this country, is built on judgment. So where do we get the opportunity to say, "Don't judge me" in one breath, yet everything existing is based upon judgment?
I don't think it's anything wrong with judging. I think that you have to have a good measure of judgment. But I don't think anything is wrong with judging because it's part of your discernment. But I definitely understand what you're saying. Now, King had said, you said, I wonder what kind of woman she would want for her son and what kind of man she would want for her daughter. Peter, I'm gonna ask you, what do you think? What kind of woman do you think she would want for her son? Because you know how moms be having blinders on sometimes when it comes to their son. So you have your son throwing stacks at naked woman right now. Would you want him to have a good woman or someone like you? You know what I mean? You know how moms are sometimes when they have boys.
Yeah. I'm gonna use my personal experience because my mother's been very critical who I bring home. She was straight up like, "Yo, she's good woman. See where it goes. Oh, get rid of her." She's very blunt when it comes to that.
Mhm.
Probably having a Greek mother with a big mouth. I love her to death, but
Hashtag Greek
sometimes
wedding. You can make the next one.
I knew that was coming somehow. You know what? I'll let you bust on me all you want if you can pronounce my real name. I think that's fair.
Well, it ain't Peter.
No, it's Panayotis.
Yeah.
Panayotis.
I had to think about it. I had to think about it. Panayotis.
Close.
Dang.
I will put it in the chats for you guys and see how you can say it.
Right.
But back to the original question. You put out what you get. End of the day. If you want that kind of woman, half naked, throwing, dollar bills at her, you're going to get trash back. I'm sorry. If you want a good woman, you can bring home to mom, have kids, and raise a very good kid, educated child for our community, to the world. You get what you get. I'm not saying all of these strippers are not educated, all this stuff, but you get what you get.
Right.
They went down the wrong road. I'm sorry. I don't think being on stage weren't half naked is the route. Do it. I don't agree with it.
Who? Panayotis.
Yeah, let me put it in for you guys right now, actually.
While I hear that, I think it's kind of hypocritical sometimes because there's a lot of occupations, including being a male rapper, that one might question and say, is it one might question in the same way. So the profession I won't even get on specifically, but I will say this. Nobody's telling her that she's not a good mom. Nobody's telling her that she's not a good woman. As a matter of fact, she's probably hearing more often that she's a great mom and a great woman because of what she's able to provide. And I think that the provision part is really often it gets disguised or it gets confusing, conflated when it comes to quote unquote what good is. Kevin Samuels used to say high value man, and that was my pushback to Kevin Samuels, although he used to, in fairness, say it's not by my measure, it's by society's measure, which he's absolutely right. Society accepts all of these things. Society accepts all of these, what some people might push back on. And so I can't entirely blame her. If you're getting told 1,000 times a day that you're the greatest and congratulations and we love you, who am I to sit there and come and tell you, hey, you need to get it together? It will be like how we used to discuss educators versus creatives. You telling me that education is the best way. Meanwhile, creator is looking at you. You're telling the creator that, and they're looking at you like you're trying to get the finances that I have achieved. And I've achieved it with what I can do. And you haven't achieved it yet. So who are you to tell me to go down the route of education? Like that's a better route than what I'm doing when you're trying to get to the same destination where I'm at.
I'm judging. If her message was consistent, I'd be like, you know what? I bet. But the fact that she's talking about how she is herself, then she's out here got her son paying for people's tuition with, I guess, her own money. I don't know whose money it was, right? We don't know that. But then, my daughter, who is, the same chromosomes as me. It's different for her. No. That is hypocritical. That is a mixed message, and that ish needs to stop.
King, you're right. And that's why we're sitting here on Mixed Message Monday. But again, let's just use Miami, for example. Miami, who says the same thing. And but Puffy is her man.
Hmm.
I mean, any questions?
You know, it's weird all around the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, one sentence. He's the one who's leading, saying, "Yo, this is what you got to do," but he's out there at 53, 54, still talking about demon time and whatever his last song was that him and Fabulous came out with. I
Mm.
mean, if
Here's the
that's
thing.
your guy, that's your lead, that's who you admire, who you revere, and many other people do as well. Hence, there leads the problem. Well, there we have the root of the problem, brother Hank.
Good evening, Hank.
What up, Hank?
How's everybody doing with
Hey,
Precious?
Hank.
All right.
Oh, see now, don't do that. I'm sorry, Hank. I charge it to my mind and not to my heart. I forgot to send Hank the link, but you're here now. You're here now.
It's true.
Thanks for not throwing me, away with the bathwater. I appreciate you.
I know that's right. But Brother King, I know she's me and her beef, and I don't know nothing about the beef. I think it's just one-sided beef, because
Hank, you will be the last person I'm beefing with. Okay, the very
Right,
last.
like I normally
Sean
get
might
one.
be the first. Like, no, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I got you. Well, it makes me feel a bit better, then. I'm gonna leave it there. At least I ain't the first. I may be the second, but I'm not the first.
Welcome. Were you able
Thank
to
you.
see the videos that we showed in the beginning? I know you
No,
have
I
your
wasn't.
show.
No,
Okay.
I was not. I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna I'm gonna play them again, even for the people who have just joined. It's two different videos.
Okay.
The mother to the son in the first video is Young Miami, the lady that's with Diddy, or the city girl, Carisha, a woman of many names. All right, so I'm gonna add this to the screen, and it has no sound. Just pay attention to what's going on in the video. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, we got the junior there just making it rain. They are, Rolling Loud. What is Rolling Loud? Is that a concert? Is that like a
Rolling out, yeah, Rolling Loud. It's kind of like Coachella, but out in Miami. Same type of gathering. Young
Okay.
hip hop artists, really hip hop driven,
All right, I'm gonna play the
skewing to the younger.
second clip for Hank. Thanks, Sean.
I'm more like with a W, like I'm a
What if Summer comes to you as pretty as she is and says, Mom, I want to be a city girl?
She ain't gonna be no city girl.
Summer ain't allowed to be no city girl?
I want her raised totally different. Like I really want her to just be like, like level-headed, a schoolgirl. I kind of was raised different, so I don't want to raise her up how I was raised. So, I'm a city girl. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but I don't want that for my.
Okay, so on Monday we do mixed message. So she has a video of her son making it rain, but her daughter can't be a city girl like she is. She don't want to raise her that way. And some parents don't realize some things aren't taught, they're caught. You know what I mean? So you don't have to tell her not to be a city girl. Just you doing it is going to, catch her attention. And I'm sure it probably has already. So what do you think, Hank?
It's nothing wrong with it, as she says. But I just don't want her to do it.
Mm.
But her son, it's okay for him to make it rain in a strip club. I don't know how old that boy was, but that boy's in trouble.
Mm.
I don't know who that boy's father is, but if you don't use this in the family court of law to get custody of your son, I don't know what you're gonna do. You don't love your child. You don't love your child. That's a goddamn shame, man. Let me say this. That boy is in a world of trouble, and especially if I'm assuming she has full custody, 100% custody, and all of that good stuff, he's in trouble. If that boy doesn't have any male role model figure around it at the young man's life, he's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
If the father's not involved, he's in trouble. As far as the daughter, I don't know what to say. You don't want her to live his life, but you setting the example. You lead by your example, and then what you're doing, what you're promoting on a regular basis, what you already have out there, You don't think she's going to be intrigued by this? Now, maybe she goes just the opposite. Maybe, she'll be blessed enough. Hey, I seen all that. I don't like that. I don't like to be degraded. I don't like to be disrespected. I don't like to be looked at like an object. Maybe she'll take that mindset. But more than likely she won't, because of who her mother is. And I'm sure her friends probably gonna be cool with it. Like, oh girl, your mama's out there. She's lit. She's had fun. She gets the bag. She got dudes. They all over. She's getting the attention. You know what I'm saying? And maybe she'll fall right into the trap that her mother did, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Who knows, man? I mean, you're gonna have to have a life-changing moment like a other girl did when Black China. I think she had
Right.
Yeah, she had to have one of them come to Jesus type moment, be dipped in the blood of the lamb.
Look. Probably.
You're gonna have to have hands laid on you by the priest, the minister, the Buddhist, the monks, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Brother Farrakhan, I don't know if that's what she's into. They're gonna have to do all this.
All right.
Because in order for her to make a change, that's the only way her daughter's gonna probably be more likely successful. If not, I think she's gonna fall into the same trap. I don't see no difference. She's gonna be on the same path as her. She talking about she want to be raised different. Well, maybe you had a little more money than what you came up, but just because you got more money don't mean that your mindset's right. You know what I'm saying? Your psychology is not, it's just not where it needs to be at to be a responsible parent. You showing that what you show with your son. That boy look like he's about 10 years old in a damn strip club. That's a damn shame, man.
10 years old.
Yeah.
That's a new. That's
Is that what it really is? He's 10 years old for real? I mean, I don't know, but
he's 10 years old because she addressed it. She addressed it in a post. Someone says, "Oh, he's 6 years old. He shouldn't be in the club," and blah 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 blah. And she responded and said,
right.
"He's
She was
10.
Like, he's 10.
Right.
Like that was
he's
better.
18 or 21. Right.
I thought it was an East Blender for the clubs.
He should know. He should have no idea about what those type of clubs is.
Man,
no idea.
He might not even know what it was, and that's the unfortunate reality. He might not even realize.
Everybody know what ass and titties is, Sean.
The totality. I mean, no, but I'm saying the totality of what's going on. I knew what ass and titties was when I was 5, but I didn't understand why.
But if he's listening to all these little babies and all these new rappers, I can't even begin to name their names. But if he's listening to them and they talking about making it rain in the club and booty shaking and this and that, that's what he's exposed to.
Yeah, by no means
he might know more than us.
Yeah, by no means am I saying he doesn't. I just said he might not. But to your point, Hank, that you made a second ago, is that little girl is going to do one of two things. She's going to be like her mother, or she's going to grow to resent her mother. Either way, it's not going to be favorable for her mother's outcome. I don't think her mother's going to like either way.
What the hell with the mother's outcome? I wouldn't even worry about it unless you make some life-changing events or life-changing decisions. If I was the daughter, I wouldn't worry about an outcome as far as my relationship with her until she makes some changes, and then I could get with her. But there's no way. Our mother was trash, and I didn't want to be like that. Yeah, Mama, I'm sorry, but I can't rock with you. Now, if you make some life-changing decisions, I could rock with you. But if you want to just be out there, just be fast and all that, no. That's not what I'm into. That's not what I want to have my kids. And you shouldn't want that for your grandkids. You shouldn't want that for your son. So hell no, we're not doing this.
And Hank, I can't dispute or disagree with you. I think where you and I sometimes have a parting of the ways is because I stay in there a little longer than you have any tolerance to do so. You like, yo, I'm out. The hell with them. The hell with the mother.
Hang on a second here. I actually agree with Hank here. If I can't believe I'm about to say this. Because if I found my kid in the club throwing money, my lawyer's on the phone at the same moment. I don't care how much money, that kid be full custody in my house. End of story.
I'm not disputing that. I agree with both of y'all. Yeah. What I'm saying is that I wouldn't give up. That's still somebody I loved at some point to have a child with. So I wouldn't specifically give up.
I'll throw a catch-22 on everybody. we letting kids listen to his rap song saying all this stuff, sexual stuff, racist stuff, killing, shooting. What do you expect is going to happen? You let kids listen to that music.
I
I
agree.
mean,
They're going to try to act out or live out
Thank you.
what they are hearing,
Yeah.
whether it's
Well,
on a small
even at
level,
my
a big
age,
level, curious
even
level.
even at my old age, I try to avoid listening to that stuff because I don't want
Mhm.
to be part of that negativity. There's some great rap songs that they don't have to do that, but they decide because of one thing: sex sells.
Mhm.
I can't dispute any of that. And being a person who's probably uh advocated it at a point in my life, for whatever I can explain why, but that's a whole nother show. But I agree that it's out there. All I would say is that it comes from places of people who sometimes just have their priorities in the wrong places. And because I've been guilty of it, I have a different type of compassion for it when I see it. I don't just throw in the towel, so to speak, but I do understand throwing in the towel. Don't get me wrong. But it's just because I've seen people who have been in trance, who have been hypnotized, who have been basically fallen victim to the industry or the entertainment industry, that I just kind of wouldn't want to give up. I would still have hope that perhaps they too can change. But if you are idolizing and revering a person like Puffy, Sean, whatever Combs, then I don't think it will happen as long as you're idolizing him. He needs to come to Jesus moment, quite frankly. And unfortunately, what they're idolizing and what I'm referring to is their monetary over morality is something that unfortunately this world is believing in right now. And I see it. I know people have fallen victim to it, but it's like cancer to me. Just because you have it don't mean that I want to give up on you and be like, die, cancer victim, die. You shouldn't have been smoking cigarettes. You should, you know what I'm saying? If they
Well,
have
it
lung
shouldn't happen.
cancer. You know what I'm saying? But I'm more like, all right, yo, you was smoking, you was hard-headed, you didn't want to listen to nobody. Hopefully you can now see and I can still support that effort. Otherwise, I gotta sit there and watch you die slowly, which I have watched so many people die slowly, uh literally and figuratively in this industry, that I have just a different perspective and compassion for it.
Mm. All right, so we have a couple of comments here. Quincy says, "I'd take that boy to a health class and anatomy right after the strip club, just so he knows what he's looking at." So we talked about him having the access and being there, and everybody know what this and that is. Um, but do you really know? Do now it's time to have the sex talk. You know what I mean? Like now it's like we can't avoid it at this point. Not to say that you're going to be in this club doing that, but again, you're being exposed to sexual behavior and at a very early age. So yeah, we're going to have the sex talk. I mean, that's just girls. Some girls are as young as 10, are able to produce. So we got to have the sex talk. So it's like I would agree with that if they haven't already done that, but at 10 is just so young. It's just so young, but you have to impart that knowledge because you have been exposed now.
Well, let me say one thing. Living from overseas, there was very common to a father take a child, and it's going to throw you guys off when I say this. My father was very common to take me to a whorehouse to lose my virginity.
Wait, say that one more time. I wasn't paying attention.
It's very common overseas, like Greece, and this is a practice in Greece. A father take you to a whorehouse to lose your virginity. I know you guys are gonna look at me like that. It was a very common practice. Now, in the 20s, 2023 we're in, it's not as common, but the early 2000s, in the 90s, that was very common still, believe it or not. So to me, yes, it shouldn't have been happening still. But unfortunately, some cultures think it's okay, but I don't think it's okay.
Well, I never knew that. So you learned
Now you
something
do.
new.
See, I learned something
Yeah.
new today.
Well, the
Your
interesting
kids
thing
get down
about that,
different, boy.
yeah, and the interesting thing about that is I've heard similar to that, and I've even witnessed similar to that outside of this country as well as inside this country. And I'm not here to judge it. You know, the difference is the age, one, the intention, two. If you're taking your son for the intention of um let's say because you know his hormones are raging and you rather him do it responsibly as best you can help with that, and so you take him to a place where it can legally and responsibly be done to where he can learn about it and you can teach him the difference between this and a loving relationship so that maybe he doesn't get caught up in his first piece being something that isn't beneficial for him, or you know there's certain elements that
At the whorehouse, Sean?
huh.
At the whorehouse?
Again,
You're saying that it can be
that's shaming,
educational?
that's shaming whores. But yes, it absolutely can. It can be
We
if
just
that's your
talked about
intention.
Carisha. We just talked
No,
about her being a whore with a W.
and again, it exists, and we shame it because we don't always agree with what he just said culturally, what it represents. But like I said, that's with the intention. Her intention of having her son there, there's no intention for that. Her intention for you know, her intention of trying to teach her daughter not to be like her, there is an intention on that. She
Mm.
might not have the methods or the best, she might not be exercising the best methods to do it, but her intention is a good intention. I was a whore, I don't want you to be one. That's a great intention. But having your son sit there and make it rain in the strip club and you know continuing to be a whore publicly, professionally, and advocating and making it glamorous contradicts the whole efforts of what you said. So it's a complete contradiction, mixed message for tonight's theme. It's a complete mixed message, and I don't advocate mixed messages, but at the same time, I do understand that certain circumstances might be intended to be helpful as opposed to what it's looked at on the surface.
I can understand what you're saying. I just things can be more educational than going somewhere where it is shamed, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You can learn about sex and things like that without going somewhere where the women are doing it, as their floor. You know what I mean? And you're trying to go there to teach a lesson or something like that. So I can understand what you're saying, but it still shouldn't happen. But it does happen in some cultures, and that's what we learned this evening. So I appreciate that knowledge that you gave us
No, the only
tonight.
thing I was going to add to that, now you're talking about oranges versus apples. Like, is one thing taking your child to titty club and throwing money around, and versus taking your child to actually learn this the correct way and not popping 10 kids out. Don't give me that look, King. Don't you dare give me that look.
I don't know if either one of them are the correct. I wouldn't think that either one of them are the correct ways, but that's not my culture. That's
That's what I'm saying. You know what
where
I'm
I
saying?
come
Like,
from.
we might just, and I don't think it's okay anymore now that I'm older, grayer, but that was the mindset back then.
Mhm, mhm.
And it has evolved. You understand? Good example. When music or movie came out here, we didn't get it for 3, 4, 5 years later.
Mhm.
It was very behind. So I remember coming back to the country, I was wearing regular pants. Everybody was wearing, baggy pants, different kicks, and all the slang. I felt like a preppy boy. And of course, I
Mm.
got bullied and everything, but that was the mentality in the early, late 90s when I came back here.
Mhm.
So you understand the different mentality I come with. Like, I look at that like, why are we going backwards except forward?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna move on to the next topic, guys. If you haven't already, definitely like the broadcast tonight. Definitely share it with someone. We're gonna move on to another video that I saw because oftentimes we hear about um, how people just resort to guns and to solving their issues or what what have you. But in this video, you see a grown man and a young man pretty much pointing guns at each other. How it started was, and that part's not in the video, but the young man was trying to break into this man's house, and so this is where it ended up.
All you got to do is talk to me, dog. What's wrong, man? What's wrong? A lot of things going on. All right, you got to put that down, though, so we can talk. And let's talk about what you got going on. I promise you. Bro, I ain't going to call the police or nothing. But you got to talk to me, all right? You can't do it like this. Let's just talk, bro. You want to make some money? Let's talk about making some money. All right? All right? This ain't the life you want to live, bro. Come talk to me. I'm putting mine down now. Come on in. Come talk to me, man. This is my brother, man. All right, my little brother. Let's talk about your little brother in the house, dog. Let's get from out here. All right.
Alrighty. So, what are you guys' thoughts after watching that? Is that something that you guys would
Man,
have done if somebody was trying to break into your house?
I
Go
have
ahead,
to
Casey.
think that that is a skit because there is no way at the end of all of that. I can understand inviting them in, but there's no way I'm going to turn my back and walk into the house with somebody that had already raised a weapon. Even though I had a weapon in my hand, I'm not defusing and then walking back into the house back turned. That makes zero sense to me. If it is true, if it is an actual event that occurred, then you know what? That is a good example of de-escalation skills, and I'm glad that it worked out favorably. I'm okay with him inviting them in, but turning your back as you walk into the door, I thought that was a huge mistake, but hopefully he changed the man's life by not ending it or getting shot himself.
Mhm. Okay, I would
Wow.
have to agree with that.
I agree with that too. I mean, the turning your back, I understand that in hindsight, it's easier to determine that. We don't know what was going on and what you was able to read, face to face with a person, because you might be able to see certain things that doesn't pose a threat. You might be able to understand certain things that you're able to discern isn't threatening, and that might have been why he did it that way. But I commend the fact that it was done, and I'm amazed that it was able to get done, and that we're even seeing that clip, because that is a way to de-escalate. That is a way, a very um, con- concerning way to approach the little brother, and looking at him as a little brother, and trusting a little brother, which is the main word that we have an issue with in our communities, is trusting each other.
Mhm.
And the little brother had to trust that he wasn't going to call the cops. He also had to trust that he wasn't going to shoot him. So there's a lot of factors that we can't determine, or I can't determine from just the clip. But the clip in itself, I was raising my hand because I'm like, yo, that is beautiful as far as I'm concerned. That is a wonderful, beautiful outcome.
Mhm.
And I wish that it can genuinely happen like that more often than not.
Right. I hear you on that one, Hank. Somebody said that was something off of A Bronx Tale. Yeah.
Yeah, the dude's lucky, man. I wouldn't have probably took the same approach with him pulling the gun on me, and because his intentions wasn't good at all. It wasn't pure. They was bad intentions. You coming to my house. I don't know how your plan was to get in my house. Assume you was gonna either kick my door in or break a window. So your intentions was good. I probably wouldn't have came out with that that kind hearted, loving manner.
Now he did have a rifle in his hand. It was blurred out. They both had them, but I
Oh,
in case you couldn't see that.
that wasn't a rifle. It was a shotgun.
Oh, okay. Shotgun. Let's see.
And that dude would have been done if he had to fire that shotgun. Yeah. So he had to drop. I don't know what my man had. It really wouldn't matter, because that shotgun would have gave him some new intestines. So, yeah, damn, that's rough.
And
Rough.
think about this way. Precious, you just had Gil from Married at First Sight on. He shared on your channel and on his own stuff as well that he lost his father due to somebody breaking into the house and things like that. Now imagine, this is playing the what if game, but I'm going to do it. What if that was Gil and Gil's on his property, and now somebody who he don't know is walking up? That young man was given a chance by somebody very generous, because if you have somebody that has experienced something as traumatic that Gil had,
it wouldn't have been no mercy.
Yeah, that night it is ending a lot different. A lot different.
Yeah, I mean, it would have ended differently for me. There's no way I could sit there and say I would invite the man into my house or nothing like it. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't have did it. As soon as I would have got the drop on, I would have took him out. Call the police. Y'all need to come pick this body up, scrape him up, get him up out of here. He don't need to stay here no longer. He's done.
I can't say for certain what I would do. I honestly don't know. I assume people that have a weapon or that come onto my property uninvited have ill intentions. I can't say for certain I'm dropping somebody. I can't say for certain I'm going to show mercy. I really don't know how I'd react in that situation.
Yeah, but King, a lesson got to be learned.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I'm being a Gemini that I am, and I know Hick, you are as well, and I understand both, because I can't say that I wouldn't have dropped him either. Even though I see it as a great, I love the outcome and the story. I can't say that I would have been man or mature enough to do that either. I don't know. I have a lot of maturities. Whether I have the maturity for that, I'm not sure. Like King just said, I can't say that I'm that mature yet. I can't say that I'm able to not, feel like it's my whole family being threatened, and my whole, and even the thought, if my family not there, the thought that my family could have been there, it takes a significant amount of maturity to not take yourself there. And I don't know if I have that yet.
I mean, like you said, again, we don't know what time of night it was. That could have made a difference with me. You know what I'm saying? If it's 2 or 3 in the morning, man, I would just get up to go to take a piss, and I hear this noise outside. Yeah, that's not good. You're not going to get the good wholesome Tim. I wouldn't have no problem. Like, I applaud the man for doing that, for even offering the man to have a conversation with him. Because now I would have did that. Couldn't have been under them circumstances.
Yeah, he probably wasn't going to come in the house.
A gun on me or nothing like that. There's no way I could. Not in my right mind, I couldn't do that. Not in that. Now, if I seen him, him just hang around on the block, like, man, just looking suspicious, and he's just walking around the neighborhood, maybe casing the neighborhood or whatever, and I come up to him, talk to him, try to befriend him and try to figure out what is he trying to do, or if he's trying to do something, maybe I can talk him down before he makes this attempt to break in somebody else's house. I would have the call. Hey, young blood, what's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome to the neighborhood. How long you lived here? You moved here? You been here a while? You know what I'm saying? I've been here for a few years, and trying to introduce myself, trying to get some idea about him, and go from there. Maybe he, like you said, he's going through some shit. I think what he said was his brother. I unfortunately didn't get to hear the rest of the story, but I'm sure whatever it is weighing heavy on him.
That's difficult to determine. I mean, because there's so many factors that you can put in your head just in looking at it. You know, he might have been able to see the fear in the cat. He might, you know, the cat might have had a revolver. He could see that it wasn't loaded.
He said he's been in his shoes. He's like, I've been on that side before.
And that's part of why I understand it as well, because I can understand that portion of it, being hungry and wanting to do something that you really don't want to do, but you doing it because you feel you need to do it, and because your circumstances, your ribs are touching, you know, as Freeway would say. So I can get that too. So that's why it's hard for me to determine. That's a lot right there to really just say yay or nay without being faced with it.
I think in 2023, more people are saying nay rather than yay. And that's the sad part, because back in 1997, it would have been more of a yay instead of a nay. I believe we were more neighborly then. We didn't have access to everything that caused us to worry and to stress or to compare or to be jealous of. We didn't have all that back in the day. Everybody looked out for each other. So in 2023, while that video is beautiful and it doesn't even scratch the surface, I believe, of the big brothers or the men that, should step up and help in the community. Nowadays, nobody feels as though that's their job, unless you're doing something in your community or whatever the case. But most men aren't. You find that that's rare for a man to, really mentor other men and care and have that extra care for them. And that's what's needed. So although this is, and it's crazy that this video is like, oh, that's a skit. Something as good and pure as that is, we look at it now as a skit rather than that's what should be a normality in our community.
Yeah. And I don't think it was a skit because of the camera that it used. The Ring camera. One. But as well, you're right, it is bad. But I mean, in fairness, nobody gonna want to hear this, but a lot of us older men are scared of these little young, because we think, we don't want to sit there and say that, but that's what will trigger that. Like everything we said, our concerns is concerns of fear.
Right.
Whether we want to admit it or not, that's what our concerns are. Or our ego, either way, it's still, because the only other thing that will make it is your ego. Man, that little, I'll kill that little, that's your ego. And, sometimes I challenge as I get older, my ego versus my morality, because my ego take me places that my morality can't sustain me. I mean, that my morality can't sustain. So that's a good video, though. Thank you for sharing it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, in my opinion. Let's say this is real life. Okay, he did the right thing. He did a great thing. But if I was in his shoes, I'm going to put one in him. But I want him to live. I'm going to blow his balls right off. Teach him a lesson. Yep, you heard me right. The reason is so it doesn't happen again. So everybody knows I'm not a person you want to mess with. Second thing, in some states, including PA, you have the right to shoot to kill if you can prove in court this person broke in your house, was trying to do bodily injury or hurt you in a certain way. PA is one of those states. So if they say this was a PA state, he won't be walking away right now. He will be in a body bag.
And that's interesting, because regardless of the state, legality or not, I think that's a pretty significant and rightful position to take, whether it's legal or not. But to your point that you made at first, shooting to injure, there's no such thing. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. You can shoot somebody in the leg and they can die because of you hit the wrong artery, or you hit, so if your intention is not to hurt them, then
you could shoot them in
it don't matter. That toe could bleed out to where that person could die. There's a lot of different ways. And so if you're shooting and you're not shooting to kill, you probably don't want to shoot.
Well, don't forget they do make non-lethal rounds too. It depends what you have. You can have the rubber rounds and put a nice hurt on the person. But a good thing with our technology these days, we have enough cameras, enough sensors, enough everything to say, "Hey, I was in the right."
Mm.
True that. I mean, you was again. I'm not knocking anybody's laws, but you was in the right, and I don't care what the law is. You were in the right to protect you and yours. Now, if
I
you got to
agree.
go to jail because you rightfully protected you and yours, that's a consequence that you can, I'm sure, stand on. If you had that gun, you're gonna stand on that because that was the reason why you had the gun in the first place.
A good example. A few years back, I remember reading this in the newspapers and on Scranton, PA. This guy ended up killing this guy who was trying to rape his wife.
Mm.
I think
Grape.
he was in
Don't
the
say
right.
that word. Don't say that word.
Oh, sorry.
They grape.
Yeah, it's one of the it's one of the YouTube words
Oh,
Yeah.
that get the channel flagged.
I
Yeah.
apologize. I didn't know.
Okay, that's okay.
Sorry.
But he protected his wife, and he ended up going to jail for that. I don't think he should have gone in jail. He went to prison. I don't know how long he went in for, but still, he was protecting his wife.
The
And I
laws.
think
It's the laws. It's
the law is
Yeah.
BS. That's my personal
Unless
opinion.
his
I'll leave it at
wife
that.
was like these city girls out here this time, where he in
That's
jail and
like,
she with Puffy. No, I'm just.
oh gosh. I'm gonna suggest the movie that I suggested to
Really?
someone. Have you guys seen Law Abiding Citizen? Have you guys seen that?
Yes, I see
That
that
movie?
one. It's a really good
Yes.
movie, actually.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
it's like, you're trying to protect your family and the law is pretty much against you, or you really don't get the justice. So you take matters into your own hands. All right, so we're gonna move on to this next topic. More in the relationship realm. We're gonna move towards that realm for the rest of the evening. But in these YouTube streets, men be saying, "Look, I ain't staying with no cheating woman. If she cheat on me, no, I know my worth. I ain't leaving, or I'm leaving. She ain't staying here." But there's a breakup lawyer that I've actually met, and I feel bad because I don't remember her first name, but I only met her once. But she's saying that men don't leave for infidelity. So we're going to put this on the stream and you guys let me know what you think.
Committing adultery is the women, or do you actually get to see a different angle of it?
It's the men.
It's typically the men actually committing
Most
adultery.
of the time, yes.
Okay. And
the funny thing is, men are not leaving their women for cheating.
wow.
I mean, they just
Really?
not.
So the women,
No.
women are also cheating, but men are not leaving their women for
No,
cheating.
men don't leave their women for cheating.
I'd be damned.
I mean, it's
But you
true,
know-
they don't.
And everybody's talking tough online about that.
Oh,
All the
please.
guys are
Everybody
talking
talks
tough.
Yeah.
online, but the men are not leaving their women for cheating. No, they're not. No,
Why,
they're not.
why are the women leaving?
Because women have been conditioned to believe that if your man cheats, you leave. And that's okay. Like, if that's what you want to do,
So
do
that's
that.
good for business.
I mean, listen, it's not about, I wouldn't tolerate it. The way that my mind is set up, I'm an overthinker. I couldn't do it. Right. So I understand why women leave, but society has actually conditioned us to say women are loyal, men are cheaters. If your man cheats on you, you leave him. Men do not leave their women.
So what do you guys have
Wow.
to say about that? Men do not leave their cheating women.
Ooh.
Most men would say that they would leave
Can I go first?
their cheating wife.
Go ahead.
So we're gonna set the record straight here on the Real Precious. What do
Oh,
y'all
I'll be very, very on this one. If my girl cheated on me, get your shit out of my house. Do not call me. Do not text me. Do not even skip the state. Skip the planet. I am done with you. Don't come crying to me. I am done. I don't play. It's like,
Nico.
I am a person when it comes to my woman. I'm very selfish. You're my woman. It's not me and everybody else. It doesn't work like that. You're my woman. If you're going to start sleeping with other people and open your legs for somebody else, I'm done with you. I'm not dealing with it.
So you would divorce her because at this point you're
Oh, on a
married. So
heartbeat.
you would divorce. Okay, because she's a lawyer. She's a divorce lawyer. So
Mhm.
she sees a lot more than we see, and she's seeing that men aren't going to leave. So you say you're going to leave. All righty, Sean.
Yeah.
I believe her. I haven't been married probably for that reason, because I don't want to get married to get a divorce, and I understand that that's a possibility of somebody, if I haven't vetted them well, or if their mind isn't there, it's easily you can be susceptible to falling victim to yielding to your temptations or yielding to your pain or
Mhm.
your hurt. And what that yielding look like can often be infidelity. But the reason why I say I believe her is because a lot of men who actually do stay probably were cheating before their wife was.
Hmm.
And so at that point, when they get hit with that hard dose of themselves and the pain that they feel, they're able to sustain and say, you know what, let's try and work through it. That's just why I think it's a possibility that her statistics might be leaning in the right direction. Now, is everyone like that? No, not at all. If a person who is faithful to their wife finds out, they're probably going to leave. But a person who's not, they might stay. It's because it's more business for them, obviously, because it ain't about the cheating or not. It's more about the business that they had already invested into and not wanting to take half and, all of those other things that cheating
Mhm.
men
That definitely
often
happens.
lean on.
Mhm. Okay. Hank,
Yeah,
maybe.
you gonna want to leave me because you ain't gonna like it the way I'm gonna treat you if I was to stay with you.
Mhm.
You ain't gonna be able to do shit without me knowing every goddamn thing and move. Man, it's gonna be hard for you. It's gonna be real hard. So yeah, you're gonna like, I can't take this. He's interrogating me everywhere I go. You damn right, because you fucked up. So with that, I have every right to do such. Now, if that's what you choose, if I choose to stay with you, and that's what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
So yeah,
But
you gonna
it's gonna be a process, though, is what you're saying. It's gonna be a very
yeah,
rigorous
yeah. I'm
process.
just talking about for my wife. Now, girlfriend, oh the hell with your black ass, you gone.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
I ain't got no ties to you. I'm not invested in you like that. I'm not poured into you. I don't have property and financial ties with you like that. So no, you move on to the next. But my wife, yeah, baby, you more likely you're gonna go through some hell. And again, it's gonna be hard for you because every movie you make, I don't care. It may be 5 years down the road. I'm still thinking about that bullshit, motherfucker. Where you going? What you
Mm.
doing? Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to move properly without me knowing every goddamn thing. And if you lie to me, I catch you. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
So, I mean, that's kind of proving what she's saying, though. Like the man is not going to leave, but he may do what you do and say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna make a little bit of a living hell for you since you done gave my stuff away." Um, so you also said after 5 years, I still might think about it. You know what I mean? So how do you become free of the transgression that your wife, you know,
I never,
imparted on you? Is there ever any freedom from that
no, I doubt it.
act?
I'll probably go to therapy and it's still gonna be in the back of my mind.
So
Mm.
why not just
It might be to the point.
so why,
It might be
why
the
not
point I might have to
stop it
look at
right
my
there?
child. What'd you say, King?
Now I'm curious, why not just drop it off the jump and not deal with that? Like
Because
just drop it from the jump.
more than likely we have kids together. We have investments together. We have a history together, right? We got it, saying we got a lot of things tied up. Family it's family, and we connected when we all develop friends of the same, same under the same umbrella. You know what I'm saying? So that
A lot
would
of
be
intertwining. That's why
yes,
they
a lot
say
of things
divorce.
and all of that.
Divorce
So
is a ripping of souls.
and I'm
See,
and again, I'm not a fan of divorce. I don't believe in it. You know what I'm saying? So and that's where I move. So I would definitely move like that. Again, it would be hell. And again, would I ever forget about it? More than likely I won't.
See, I do understand where Hank is coming from, and in a way, I do agree with what he's saying. But me personally, like I said earlier, you're done. Kids or no kids, we can figure that out in court. How that's gonna work? If we have a house, we can figure that out. It's once you decide to do that, how can I trust you with my financial? How can I trust you with my kid? How can I trust you? That is the biggest question. How can I trust you?
Sean, you should know the answer to
Man,
this question.
man.
'Cause that's your biggest thing.
We have to learn how to trust and forgive. And that's our biggest challenge, to be honest with you. And that's why we have a lot of failed relationships because, like Hank, that's why I haven't been married because those who can't trust can't be trusted. And when I can't trust you, it's going to be hard for me to be trusted. And not that I'm out there doing anything, but I'm always wondering and trusting to have the comfort that you deserve is part of that. You know, like Hank said, you ain't gonna want to be with me because it's not gonna be comforting for a long time. You're gonna have to show a lot of effort and energy and put in a lot of work to reestablish that trust. But to your points and why you asked me the question is because we too have to learn how to forgive. And unfortunately, we don't always know how to do that well. But in knowing that you don't know how to do that well, is part of it's helpful. Go ahead, King. You don't believe that?
God forgives. I don't. Ain't no way. I think it's better to, yes, you got those intertwined cords, rip them cords apart and enforce the consequences for what occurred. I'm not going to sit here and put extra energy into disciplining somebody that cheated after the fact. No, I'm gonna rip this band-aid off early, pick up the pieces afterwards and move on. That's way too much energy.
Wait, but why King say, why King say, why King say God forgives, I don't? Is Jesus saves, I don't? You're not even gonna forgive?
I mean, but in honesty,
He made his own shit.
He made his own.
Man, but in all honesty, that's how a lot of people feel. And it's not just men. A lot of women are now adopting the same mentality, and that's why we have such hardened, bitter, resentful women. But I say it again, it's the same as hardened, bitter, resentful men.
Well, look, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be spiteful too. I might try to knock off your best friend. Don't put it past me. I might be looking for the
those who can't trust can't be trusted. Wow, I was fucked up.
And I'm gonna knock your best friend out. She gonna get the D.
And with that, would that allow you to the grace to be forgiving after you've done that? Or would it add to it?
Hell no.
Because now you like, yo, she gonna get me back.
Yeah, she ain't no damn good to me. I mean,
right? It's the whole game.
Hey, and also you may get a threesome out of it. You never know either.
I don't care about all
see,
that.
That's going back to that whorehouse training there.
Oh my god.
I don't care about no threesome.
Man.
I'm looking to make me feel good for the moment, and am I out?
Yeah, the reality to it, and the reason why I challenge men specifically to really think about it is because really the only thing you're doing is protecting your ego for the most part. And a lot of us don't have the maturity, I'll say it again, to allow our ego to take a bruising. That's a really hard blow to our ego that our wife, I can't even say it without feeling it. Our wife cheated on us, especially if you're honoring your relationship. Ooh, that's a blow. That's a blow. That's a blow. But I challenge us, how many blows have we taken in life outside of that one, which is significant, I'm not downplaying it, that we have moved forward from? That's like getting scammed or something and losing a bunch of money and saying I can't do business ever again
Mm.
with that person. Perhaps I get what you said. You know, I get that portion, but a lot of men, we can't do business at all with a trusting heart. We
Mm.
can't get in a relationship at all with a trusting heart, no matter who the woman is. Because now it just, if you see something that resembles what your wife did, you are triggered by it.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
In anyone. And how much of a good life is that going to be for you? And this is why I'm like, we got to learn to let it go. We got to learn to let it go. Otherwise, we ain't going to have nothing significant because we ain't
And
going to trust nobody.
I challenge people to also, you know, people be like, oh, I forgive, but I won't forget. I challenge you to try to forget it, because the only way that you're going to trust is if you practice forgiving and forgetting. People always say, well, I won't forget. And I'm not saying to let anyone take advantage of you. I'm not saying to let anybody run over you or anything like that. But in order to practice forgiveness, you do have to, like you said, Sean, let it go. But if you're continuing to remember it, if you're continuing to run that Rolodex of whatever it is, you're never going to let it go. You're never going to forgive that person. So you do have to say, you know what, today I'm not even going to think about it. Today I'm not even going to address it. Today I'm not even going to check the Instagram. Today I'm not even going to do any of that. Because if I continue to do it, your mind is only going to go, it's only going to follow your thoughts. It's only going to follow what you intentionally put it on. So you have to intentionally not put it there. And I think
Yeah.
that's what we have an issue with. A lot of people
Well,
don't change their thoughts when they need to, and they let their thoughts overtake them when it shouldn't be that way.
man, Precious, that's an oxymoron in itself. I forgive, but I ain't gonna forget. Because the context that you're using forget in is you not forgiving. So
You have
let's
to practice that.
no, no, what
And
I'm
that's the
saying,
thing.
you're right. What I'm saying
Mhm.
is when you use that saying, the context that you're using, but I'm not gonna forget,
Mhm.
is saying I'm not
I'm
gonna
not going to let it
forgive.
go. Right. I'm
Right.
not going to let
So
it go.
it's an oxymoron. It's contradictive in itself
Yeah.
because it doesn't make any sense. I forgive, but
Because
I ain't gonna forget.
forgiveness is a trait of God, but God also threw things in the sea of forgetfulness. So there are things that he just kept behind him. So we like to keep the forgive part, but we don't want to throw the things that we need to throw in the sea of forgetfulness. We don't want to, you know, forget. It's like, oh, I'm gonna forgive, but I ain't gonna forget. Well, you're gonna keep carrying it. It's gonna keep being heavy because your words are your power. So you're telling yourself that you're going to continue to carry it. You're telling yourself that you're going to continue to hold that person accountable. So we have to think about that too when we say certain things, or we just be repeating things that everybody else say. You have to realize what you're saying over yourself. You have to realize what you're saying to other people, and who else is hearing that. Because you think that you're one way, but you're really talking yourself into a way that you really don't want to be, but you're that way because you're speaking that way. Alrighty, so we're going to get to this next video because we're getting down to do women know their place, and there's two videos where men are saying that women need to know their place. This is a very short video here, and then we're going to get into the longer clip to end the live. But we're going to get into this short clip. So I think this is very important. I think this happens a lot with men and women. And it has something to do with forgetfulness and throwing things in the sea of forgetfulness, because women, when they get hurt, they don't forget nothing. Nothing. Okay. So we're gonna play this.
Get they place.
Well,
They
what
they forget they place. They forget they place as a helper, and they want to become a herder because they're so emotional. That's what I mean. You so emotional, you just want to be a herder.
So what do you guys think? It's a very short clip. We're going to get into a longer one, but what do you guys think about that? Do you experience women who supposed to, your purpose is to be a helper, but because you're so emotional, you're not necessarily a helper to me, you're actually hurting me?
Well, I've been in that kind of situation when she was supposed to support me. I was going through a rough patch in my life. Things were falling apart right and left. And this is way before I got therapy. I was saying, damn, I'm screwed up in the head. She was more damaging me than anything. But eventually she realized, and I told her that, listen, when I'm having these meltdowns, these breakdowns, or whatever you want to call it, I need you to support me. She goes, I don't know how to do that. It's your job to have a safe house.
Did he freeze? I think
She literally, she ended up getting a car she couldn't afford. At least it was $700 a month. Her car payment, her insurance.
You might have to back up because you froze for a second. So,
okay, where'd you lose me at?
We lost you at she wasn't supporting you.
Yeah, okay. She wasn't supporting me when I needed somebody just have a talk with me, have a drink with me, and just calm me down. I'm having a moment. And she turned around and she told me, it's your job to keep the lights on. It's your job to make sure we have somewhere to live. It's your job, your job, your job. But I need you to back me up sometimes. Maybe not financially, that's emotionally, because it's a lot to take in when you're paying for everything. It's a lot to take in when you're running 100 miles per hour, and when you need one day just to sleep in and relax, and you got to get up and do everything else you couldn't do in a week.
Okay. So the lack of support is what hurted you.
Oh God,
when she was supposed to be helping.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it wasn't only her. It was several other females I've been with, and they don't know what support is because they say, I'm independent. You need to be dependent too. And it's fine. You want to be independent? Great. I'm not taking that away from you. But when I make a phone call and say, I just need to talk and vent. Sorry, I'm too busy. I'm out with my girls having drinks. I think I'm more important at the moment when I need to talk than having drinks. Just my opinion.
Okay. So, Hank, what do you think? Women are emotional, and so they turn into a herder instead of a helper.
Man, that's rough. I mean, especially, I guess, like the example my man Groom Review gave during the time where I needed that, and you're more of a herder. Oh, man. I'll be very disappointed if that's what my lady was to give me during my time of need. And, I would hope most women are not like it because they're nurturing. That's usually come natural for them, and that usually comes easy for them. But unfortunately, most ladies in I'm gonna call them ladies. Goddamn, most of these women in 2023, yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to be like what he just. My man gave a scenario or example of a woman who's more of a hurtful person than a helper. It's just unfortunate that this is the way it is now. But it just makes, as men, it just makes our job harder. Pay attention to what's going on, man. Watch her moves, watch how she talks, watch how she treats other people. Look, if she's willing to hurt her family and not be there for her family, more than likely you're gonna get that smoke. Even though it may not be happening at the beginning, you're gonna get that same smoke that she get her family. It's coming, man. It's only a matter of time. So if you see her doing that, yeah. Cut that thing short. Leave her at the restaurant. Quick, fast, and then hurry.
All right. Sean came back at the perfect time.
Oh man.
So what do you think?
Absolutely, he is correct.
Mhm.
Oh man, a herder. And unfortunately, it goes back to what we were just talking about, not being able to let go. You're bitter, you're scorned, you're resentful. And hurt people hurt people. That's a saying that I learned over the last few years, and it just reigns so deeply, and it is so true. There's so much truth to it. Hurt people hurt people. And And so yeah, she is becoming more of a herder than a healer, than a helper. And it's an unfortunate reality that we're dealing with, because it's not only you're dealing with the pain of whatever hurt you, but you're also dealing with the how people are normalizing to hurt people when you are in pain. How other women are normalizing, girl, you need to do this, girl, you need to do that, and instigating it, and just basically fueling the fire. So it's an unfortunate reality that, yes, he is absolutely right. They want to be the herder because their ego and pride, which is I speak on that. I call it the woman's pride, the man's ego, and their pride just don't allow them to give grace to forgive.
Okay. And King?
I'll keep it quick. Generally speaking, it doesn't matter what the gender is. If you're somebody that makes decisions based off of what you're going through emotionally at the time, a lot of the times those decisions can be irrational decisions that can have some pretty bad consequences. Now, broadly looking over, overall, a lot of the ladies are the ones that are more emotionally led. I didn't say all, I said a lot. And when that occurs, yes, you can observe and see these emotional based decisions that can have some really bad consequences. And that's unfortunately what people are seeing when they observe. Like there's a reason why there's the saying, a woman scorned, da da da. Hell hath, what is it? Hell hath no fury
Like
like
a woman
a
scorned.
woman scorned.
Mhm.
It's when that person becomes scorned and they make an emotional based reaction or a decision to something. Typically, it's not a okay, you did this, I'm gonna come here. Nah, the emotions make that thing come right up here. So it's like, hey, here's that line. I done went way past that line because of how my emotions led me
Right.
to do something.
Right. And even in this, what was it, 19-second clip? I'm gonna play it one more time. But even when they're talking, the men are talking, you see how the women are emotionally and want to respond. And they're like, what place? And like they can't even hear the words that are coming out of the men's mouth without feeling emotion attached to those words, right? So they want to jump down his
Women
throat already.
forget they place.
Well,
They,
what if
they forget they place. They forget they place as a helper, and they want to become a herder because they're so emotional. That's what I mean. You so emotional, you just want to be a herder.
It was like she had to hold it in. So even in something as simple as a conversation with the man, you can hurt when you're trying to overtalk or you don't just sit there and listen and receive. You can be more hurt than help in just a conversation. When I was on the Lapeef Network on Thursday, we were talking about how men lie because women don't really know how to receive the truth. They want to jump down his throat. They want to, call him a liar or just everything is goes so far negative that a man is apprehensive to tell the truth because of the response that he has gotten. Now, I don't feel as though men should stop telling the truth, but I can understand why you're not telling the truth. So that's something that has to shift, and it only shifts when a woman is able to change the response to the truth. And I believe that. So, but again, if men aren't going to be truthful, then you never really know if it works or. But I think if you guys got a better response, you would be more, you would want to tell the truth more because you would. It's like telling the truth. It should be like baking chocolate chip cookies. Instead, it's like trying to defrost a turkey or something. It's like, we want the chocolate chip cookies.
I'll throw a catch-22 really fast here. Sometimes when I'm upset about a situation, I want to be quiet. I want to diagnose the whole situation. And that's where you start nipping at me, picking at me. Oh, why you mad? Why this? Why that? I'm like, just give me a minute to diagnose before it starts a fight. You're picking, and that's where I'm going to start a fight. I'm like, listen, this and this pissed me the fuck off. This is why I'm pissed. And you go, oh, you always want like fighting and start an argument. Like, I'm being quiet here. I'm just trying to diagnose the situation. And sometimes most people don't understand. Maybe I don't want to talk about it right now. I just want to process the situation. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe this, maybe that. Maybe after I diagnose the whole situation, I'll go, you know what? I'm in the wrong. I owe her an apology.
I think
Or it could be
sometimes
the other way around.
women can, I think that they can take the silence of a man in the wrong way too. And I think that sometimes us women, we just have to be patient. You know, things aren't going to always happen the way that we want them to happen. So we literally have to be patient. And that's one thing that women, I would say, because I had to work on my patience. So I know if as a woman, if I had to work on my patience, other women have to do the same thing. And that's something that you have to practice. And practicing that means you're not getting what you want when you want it. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay, you know, with not getting what you want when you want it. But it's also in how you either wait or you put into action what you want. You know what I mean? So I think that practicing patience is important too, because we could take y'all silence in such a wrong way that you're thinking this and we all the way over here. And we don't have to be over there. We don't have to, worry our minds like that. With clear communication and just being patient, I think that, communication can get better. But the silent treatment is not good on either ends. And so I would say if you can't talk right now, just make that be known. The more direct you are in something like that is the best you can get. Right now is just not the best time. Because silent treatment is not good for anyone.
Yeah, I agree. And I was sitting over here mocking King. Because as he was going through it and saying, we were like, yes, and everything he was saying and all of his reactions were right on point. When he would go like this, I would go like this. When he would go like this, I would go like this. He nodded his head, yeah. But I think all that to say, you're right. And Peter, to what you just said, it's an easy fix for that if it's respected. And the fix is I need time to process. And being able to her being able to respect that you need time to process is a right woman for you. But if she's not able to respect taking time to process, then you might want to consider reevaluating that relationship.
At the time I thought, that was the best practice. Obviously, now that I'm a little older, I know better. Now, obviously, I would say, hey, give me my space. Let me cool off. Let me think about the situation. Let me go walk the dog and cool off for a few minutes. Now that I know that. Back then, I just didn't want to talk. Because, again, I did not want to start a fight. Again, as older we get, wiser we get.
Well, can I say this? What you just described, and this is what I think is the problem with both men and women. We're spoiled. We want our way. We want what we want, when we want it, and how we want it. And there's a reality to that I think if we face it, we might be able to resolve some issues before they become issues. But at the other, on the other end, it's fine if you're spoiled to the point because you're spoiling each other. But when you're just spoiled and you just want it, I want what I want the way that I want it. We almost condemn women daily for that attitude. But us men, we don't ever take accountability of how spoiled we are.
That's true. That's very true.
Had to, throw that ding 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 in there because that's true. I'm glad that I was told that I give men too much credit. I was told that I give men too much credit. And I believe that I sit here to understand and have a platform where people can understand men. So like even when you say things like that, Sean, it's like I don't I'm not going to, I don't know, I just I think that we should just respect men even if you don't like them. I think that we should do that as women.
Ooh.
And so it's not necessarily saying that I hold men to a high regard, but I want men to be able to talk about the issues that men have so women can understand the issues that you have and just be able to sit and listen to them. So while I do hold men to a high regard, there are some men that shouldn't be held to that high regard, but I believe that these conversations are allow people to gain understanding, whether you're a man or a woman.
Can I
So
say this? I just came up with this conclusion earlier yesterday. I was talking to my one of my sisters, right? And she was talking about her man and he a B ass, he be acting like a B. I said, hold up. In no regard can you as a woman ever say that. It's kind of like a white person saying the N-word. There's just certain things that you just cannot say, whether it's away from your man or in front of your man.
mhm.
That B word and a man to man can say that, just like a black person can say the N-word. A
Right.
woman can call a woman a B, and no offense, because that's just, but there's certain things that we need to start really paying attention to and start really challenging our women. That's just something you can't say. It's
Mhm.
offensive no matter whether you're in front of a person or not. And I had to check my sis on that because I'm like, yo, I don't even know her man. But I was like,
Mhm.
yo, I can't sit here and allow you to call him a B, even though I say it. I feel like what he's doing is real. It's real sensitive. He's showing the sensitivity, but you can't say that.
Yeah, because it's like you're with him. So you if that's what you're classifying him as, then you're looking foolish because that's who you chose. That's who you
Well,
chose to be with.
that's
So
part of it.
if you're not gonna help,
That's
don't hurt, right? If you're not
what
gonna
I,
help, don't hurt.
yeah, that's part of it. The point is that you're posturing yourself and positioning yourself in a place that a woman is not supposed to be in. You're not supposed to
Oh,
be
so we
talking to
we
no
talking
man like that.
about women in their place.
Yeah, segue, ain't it?
Do women
Dun,
know
dun,
their
dun.
place?
Yeah, but women need to stay in their place. No,
Well, women, we get out of our place. There are times where we get out of place. Nobody is perfect. But we do need to know the proper things to do. And honestly, I had and still have a great example. My parents are married, so I saw how my mom was in her place. And I think that when women hear that, they get such a defensive demeanor. What do you we just saw it in the video, and we're gonna see it again.
Mhm.
What do you mean my place? What do you mean my place? My thing is I don't understand why women have a problem having a place. We all have a place. And our place is not as high and as mighty as the man's place. I don't even want my place to be that high. I don't want my place to be that equal to him. I don't, because I am the weaker vessel. And I accept that place. I'm
it
okay
lends
with
to
that
the
place.
point. Yeah, it lends to the point I just said a few minutes ago. Women are often spoiled,
I
and
won't
they
give
want
you.
what they want when they want it and how they want it, and that's really why they don't want to be put in their place because they don't want to be put in that place. I don't need to be put in my place. Yes, absolutely, you do for the
Mhm.
safety of everyone.
Yeah.
I want to give you guys a little example. My cousin was dating his Puerto Rican chick one time, and they're arguing about something. I don't even remember. It was a while back, and he turned around, looked at her, goes, "Stay in your place." I looked at him like, "Ooh, you're gonna get stabbed, buddy." Um, and that escalated to a bigger and bigger fight. That's a word. If you know what you have at home, well, it doesn't matter really.
So I'm just curious. What?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just curious, just in general, because I know what we're about to head to, but this topic of being in a woman's place is interesting because earlier in the comment section, I had asked a question: how did we get here? How is
Mhm.
it that we went from Coretta to Throat Queen, or Throat Goat? That was what Quincy had put in the comments. So I asked the question: how did we get here, right? And I'm curious if because somebody said, hey, freedoms led to the modern lady being rebellious and things like that. And I'm curious if there is a such thing as a woman's place, and if so, is it a negative connotation to say that? And are we better enforcing certain things like that? So I'm kind of curious how the rest of this conversation is going to go.
Let me answer that for you, King, for a second. In my opinion, when a woman's place is backing me up, supporting me, give me a hug when I need it, give me a kiss, slap me when I'm not literally slap me, but expression of speech, of course, saying, hey, you're having a bad day. Chill out. You're not on by yourself with this. You got support. Like, good example, you and Michelle, when you're having a bad day and you need to have a conversation, is her ear open?
Yes.
Okay. And when you're having like an emotional day, doesn't she tell you, hey, go have a beer, relax, right? Maybe not those words, but
I don't know what an emotional day is.
No, I forgot who I'm talking to. Damn it. Okay. Let's play this out a little different. Let's talk me and Press for a second. If you pretend for a second, of course, me and you were in a relationship. I'm having a bad day, flipping out. Just everything's irritating me. How would you react to it?
Well, depending on the dynamics, I'm gonna answer.
He asked Precious though.
I said
Precious. Being Precious.
I thought he said King. My bad. Let me mute myself.
Whoa.
Let me turn off my camera too.
Yeah, please. I went from
it is 2023 now. It is 2023.
I went from the beautiful Precious to the short and bolden.
Honestly, I would probably just ask you, is there anything that I could do to help?
That's my point exactly. Like, by the word using in your place, I think we are throwing that way out of character and proportional, because being in your place can be a lot of things. I go like my dog, like, yo, dude, be in your place. Okay, whatever. I know my place at work. I have to cook, get my food out, all this stuff. That's my place. My woman's place is to support me. That's all I ask. Have, make sure you just kiss me. If you don't kiss me and say I love you before I leave the house, I'm thinking something's wrong. That throws my day off. To me, that's, being in our place. It could be so many different ways.
That's why I asked that. I said, is there a negative connotation to say that if, a lady was to hear it, hey, I need you to be in a woman's place. Do most people hear that and assume something negative around it?
Most women do. They do.
Absolutely, because women don't like to be controlled. But to the point, when you're not controlled, what are you? Out of control often. So if you want to be out of control, is the reason why you don't want nobody to be able to enforce or check you on being controlled. And
I'm sorry, go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish.
On Friday, I was on another stream with WMU, whatever his name is. And yeah, thank you. And the topic was obey. I think this and obey goes together. Like, you don't have to obey me. I think it should be respect. Same thing in placement. Respect.
Let's go back to them vows. No, it's obey. That's what it said. Let's not deviate from the word that the heavenly vow.
I know this is coming.
Oh, hey, Precious, I wish you had that video queued up of the people at the podium. Have you seen that one?
I have.
That would have been perfect.
I can try and get it while you guys are talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's funny because here's something that a woman's place. This guy said it recently, and I'm not going to quote him because it's kind of vulgar how he said it. But he said, "Yo, I don't want to have to tell you anything as if you're my wife. I shouldn't have to tell you nothing because guess what? The dog don't got to tell you when he got to eat. The dog don't got to tell you when he got to walk. But yes, that dog eats all the time. That dog is walked. That dog don't got to tell you when to be pet. that dog is pet. So if you as my wife don't know what I need without me having to tell you, then there's a problem. That's your place.
See, I had the
Yeah,
same
and even if you
conversation.
do have to tell her, her place is to be able to receive, you know, what you're saying and be able to have an open mind on, you know, your vision and your direction too, because everybody doesn't know everything, you know? And so
Agreed.
it's okay to not know, but it's not okay to be belligerent or disrespectful or, you know, feeling as though um he can't teach you something and you just receive it. That's your place. Your place is to be taught. Your place is to receive. That's your place. But a lot of women don't let them make some money, child.
Oh my
They
God.
don't, their place is out this
Ooh.
world, you know, and so you can't tell them anything. Their head is in the skies. They're, you know, I make this type of money and I should
You
have
ain't
this type
paying
of
my bill.
treatment and
Yeah.
right. And so, you
You ain't
know,
my
those are the
daddy.
women who or you have the women that, you know, intentionally try to use men who think that their place is forever in your pocket, you know, and that's not your place. Your place is not in my pocket.
Well, the funny thing is, if that is your place, understand that's where you will be pocketed. And most men, a lot of men control women with their pocket.
Mm,
And they say they don't want to be controlled, but that's a lie. And I wish they would stop lying to themselves. That's a lie. You don't want to be controlled, yet if somebody got a big enough pocket, they're controlling you. I mean, your
yeah.
job controls you. Yeah, you know, and I used to say that with my ex often. She used to be like, "You trying to control?" No, I'm not trying to control. If I want to control you, it'd be very easy. All I gotta do is be able to give you the money that your job is giving you, because they
Mm,
control you.
yeah. I'm
And then
actually gonna
that's
save that. I did get the video, but I'm actually gonna save that for next week Monday because I want to actually go into that word obey a little bit more.
Okay.
But you know, the basis of it, they were saying their vows, and she didn't want to say that part. But I actually want to dig a little bit deeper into that next
Yeah,
week.
that's actually good for its own topic. So
Right,
that's
right.
what's up.
So
It was a good topic we had the other night. But one thing I do want to add to this, I was having a conversation with individually person. He was from Iraq, Muslim, and he looked me straight in the face. I'm looking at you guys, kind of said to me, "My woman will obey. She will listen. She will sit and do whatever I tell her." I go, and I think it's a culture thing too, because he is Muslim and he is from Iraq, and that's how they do it like that. I don't agree with it personally. Listen, if my woman wants to move, sits on the couch or on the sofa or in the kitchen, that's up to her. I don't care. But he was very, very controlling person.
yeah,
wow. I just made a video, a reel yesterday. It's because I was having a conversation offline, and the conversation came up. We talked about men and women. I was like, "Yo, it's easier for a woman to open her legs than it is to open her mind."
oh, yeah, I saw that.
And then I reversed it. I said, "Hey, it's easier is it easier to open or to open your legs, open your mind, or is it easier to open your legs instead of being able to open your mind?" I don't know how I phrased it, but y'all can go check mine to see what it was. But the point that I was asking, or the question I was asking, is why is it so easy for a woman to open her legs, but it's so difficult for her to open her mind up to something new?
Well, let me. I don't. I'm not going to answer that question. I'm gonna let somebody else have that question. But Precious, what was the question? Because we done got all over the place. And so now,
The initial question here was, well, we were kind of finishing up on the hurt. You know, you go from a helper to a herder because you're so emotional. Women are so emotional. That's what the guy was saying.
okay. I thought we started the question: do women know their place? Because we kind of started talking about that.
Yeah, Sean alluded to that. So if you'd like to answer that, you can do that too, and then we'll show the last video and then get out of here.
Oh no! Well, we go ahead. And show, well, let me.
So that's what this video is about. A woman's place.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and watch the last video, and then I'll respond from that. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. All right, we'll get into this last video here. Charleston White, I believe is his name. Charleston White is the speaker in this video.
Tell boys, don't hit girls back. I've been whispering in my son ear, go hit her back. Hit her, she hit you, you hit her back.
And that's why you got to stay away from males.
That's why you got to stay in a woman's place.
You got to separate.
That's why you
don't live with them. That's why you don't live with them.
Quiet and don't talk back to a man.
There you go.
Quiet and don't talk back to a man. Because all the women before me that I saw gracefully, those were those kind of women. Her grace and her essence of a woman would shut his motherfucking ass up. When the essence of a real woman come around, niggas pull their pants up, say, man, don't do that in front of her. Then it's naturally will be done it because her presence of a woman, a bitch don't get that response. Get that. That woman that made her son kill her was a bitch. That woman, that man with that 14, that was a bitch. Arguing back and forth with a man. I would have watched my mama remove herself out of the presence of a disrespectful boy. Playing like he a man, wouldn't even responded to him, but a got something to say back. A woman removes herself. It's certain things that a lady ain't go do, and when a lady walk into a room, men straighten up. I swear to God.
Hey, that dude is known to put out some clips, and on some stuff he say, I'm like, man, he talking outside of his head. But that right there, what he just said. Facts. Y'all knew the people in your neighborhood, the elder ladies, the one that commanded and had the respect without even really needing to say anything. People acted right when they were around, walking down the street. You walked into the store and you saw them. You knew how to act around that person. It was just it was the way that they had think like. And I almost kind of hate to say this because there's some stuff about Claire Huxtable from the Cosby Show that I'm not a fan of, but for the most part, she had the respect of the people around her and things like that. In my neighborhood, we had those elder ladies that was just like that were like ladies that people just acted right on. Charleston White in that clip has a fantastic point.
Well, and I appreciate what Charles White said, and I agree with everything he said in that clip. What concerned me is that little bull dagger that was sitting beside that was concerning me. And what she said, see, that's why you can't be around me. So it's okay for this a woman to hit a man, but if a man decides to raise up and strike back, he dead wrong. She talk like he wrong for even raising up or getting upset or being frustrated because a woman laid hands on him. How could you speak like this, man? How could you move like this?
Dagger.
Exactly right.
Hank.
She hated because she ain't got a real one. I know. I already know.
I don't know if everybody here saw this clip, but it's making its rounds today. Monica was having a concert, and there was a couple that was arguing in the crowd. There's one particular portion that shows Monica. I mean, she stops her concert and she goes off into the guy. But there's been other clips that show the lady as the aggressor. But and she's all up in this guy's face, and he's trying to stop her from putting her hands on him. He's trying to, de-escalate. You don't see him as the aggressor. She's the aggressor. He hits her, and he kind of. He reactionary, like hit her back. He didn't go to knock up, but he put some distance in between them two, and that's whoa. And I'm like, yo, this dude was protecting himself from her as the aggressor, yet everybody came at this dude the moment he decided to defend himself.
Did you see the comments? Did you see the comments? She talking about what was the real man in that situation? Why didn't they do?
The real man that they're referring to is in that clip.
Nobody was stopping her. Nobody was stopping her when she was aggressively escalating and doing everything that she could. But the moment he decided to defend himself, that's when everybody had a problem.
Again, the real man that they're asking about and that they're looking for is the one that was in that clip with Charleston. That's the one they're looking for. When they're asking, where's the real man? The one that you just said is the BD. I won't even say the word because I don't want to get clipped. But the real man that they're looking for is that type of person. And that's the problem that we are having right now in our relationships and society, is that that's the definition of a lot of women's real man.
Well, but like what King was talking about, she addressed that situation in a tweet later on, criticizing about what a real man was. And in that situation, you're gonna blame every man. It's every man's responsibility to go defend that woman. We don't know the situation. We don't know the scenario. We don't know what happened prior. You know what I'm saying? We don't know that. We just gonna jump in and save his effort. Look, I did it one time and I'll never do it again. Unless you a family and I know you and we got a relationship, I will never jump in a domestic dispute again, because the first and the last time I did it, I almost got stabbed by the woman for trying to help you from getting your ass whooped by this dude. I remember me and my ex-wife was riding down the street one time and we seen it going on. I said, damn, that dude's over turning her ass up. I mean, he was whooping her like a dude. She said, well, won't you stop it? I'm not doing shit. I said, you get on the phone, call 911, and you let them know where it was. And that's exactly what happened. We got on the phone, we called the police, let them know where it was, and hopefully they got to it before he ended her. But I said, no, I wouldn't. And I told my ex, I said, no, I'm not doing it more. I said, this is why it happened to me. I said, never again. I said, I'm not going to put my life on for some situation I don't know nothing about. That's not me I'm not called to protect every woman. I'm called to protect my woman. I'm called to protect my daughter. I'm called to protect my granddaughter. Not every woman deserves my protection.
And again, this goes with the response that men get when they go to save the day. So they can't tell the truth. They can't save us because our responses to these things are negative. It's like, well, again, with these tweets, where the real men at? Well, the real men are tired of getting, beat down. The real men are tired of coming to your rescue and you got your, you back with your boyfriend after he done, beat your head in, over the weekend. You back with him on Monday. The real men are tired of not being able to be received by their women. So I can understand. But it's a shame.
Yep.
The sad part, I had to do this shit for my mother. I had to go in there and put her boyfriend out, and 2 weeks later, this dude right back there. I said, I won't be doing this again. If that's what you're gonna turn, that's when I came up with that slogan. I said, come thicker than blood. I tell you that.
And to the point to what Charleston White said, and relating it to that clip from that concert. If that lady was a lady, I mean, you're at a concert, you're having a good time. If that lady was a lady, you're not going to sit here and escalate that things. She had the balls and the audacity to escalate and do what she did, because it's almost kind of laughable now. By default, people are going to come and save the day, no matter if she was the aggressor, if she was the one. So you can sit here and be at a concert and be in your man's face. I don't know what he did or said, but it almost doesn't matter at this point, because had she not been emotional, she had the ability to remove herself, go over to a different side of that big ass concert and chill for a second. But no, she chose to be in this dude's face. She chose to put her hands on him first. He reacted, and now boom, he's not a real man, but yet that's a lady. Come on now.
Well, she did it because she knew somebody was going to bail out.
Yeah, I want to say this.
A group of ladies that was going to bail out and give this man the business. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. I mean, she knew it. She knew she had full autonomy, full protection. Wasn't going to be no backlash on her.
And see, I was I like to mess around, but in seriousness, that's the whole principle of Charleston White's point of view, staying in your place, because you should know better than that. But unfortunately, we have become far removed from knowing better than that. And that's the difference between the lady that he was describing, understanding her place, and the women of today, because they have been able to
Thank you, Sean.
jump into people's faces with no consequences. Men's faces that they know they're not able to do anything, not in protecting themselves, but and to sit there to instigate and try and basically fight a man that for what reason I don't know. It's delusional,
Crazy.
it's crazy, it's insane, but they never face the consequences to the point of where he started when he said hit her back. Because at a young age, when you're taught, oh, you can just hit somebody and get away with it, that is what we have been advocating since that young age. And now it becomes women who never learned anything different. And it now becomes a life or death consequence for not just her, but her and her man.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
It's a sad reality, is what it is.
Well, I gotta say something here. This hits home for me. I have mentioned about this story a couple of times. I've been on the show. I was a victim of domestic violence. My ex threw a garden scissor at me. Cop showed up. First thing they asked me, did you hit her? No, I called you guys. Can I see your hands? Like, seriously, dude? Show my hands and everything. Oh, you're clean. I'm like, yeah, I know. I called you guys. So we try working through again. I saw the scars on my forehead when she got mad a couple times, and she literally starts punching me with the same ring. I bolt her in my forehead, busting me open. And people are like, what happened to you? I was just messing around with a dog or something. I make excuses up because I was embarrassed, saying a 5'2" woman beat the living crap out of me because I want to hit her back. My cousin's a retired cop out of New York City, and he used to tell me all the time, domestic violence towards men are more common than women now these days. And the third thing I want to say is, the same woman that used to beat me used to say to her kids, if you ever lay a finger on a woman, I will break your neck, I will chop your dick, all this stuff. You just sit there and take it. Why is that okay? This hits home for me. I'm getting emotional just talking about it. Because it's not okay. I know I was very good to her.
But why were you good to her? I don't understand that. Why were you good to somebody who threw garden scissors at you and you stayed in the relationship? Why?
I was stupid because I thought I loved her. I loved her to the end of it. But towards the end, when we broke up, I was like,
I have a question. Where do guys learn love from?
I learned it from my parents.
Oh, man, that's a good question.
Hey, that is a damn good question.
Good question that I would take too long to answer, but I just wanted to address. No, you didn't stay with her because you were stupid. You stayed with her because you was taught that way. Often in the society is what we're touching on right this second. What Charleston White was referring to is the condition that has been happening for years, and now it's just out of control because we allowed it to happen for that many years. Do things with no women. You can do what you want with no consequences.
You know what?
Unfortunately, now if you was in California, she would have went to jail. Because after Nicole Simpson, they made a law that it's no longer if you have a scar on you or any type of anything done, if you have it on you, you got to go to jail. I mean, the other person got to go to jail. If y'all both have it, y'all both got to go to jail. And it's not like y'all pressing charges. It's the city that's pressing charges. It's the state. You can't even bail yourself out because it's the state that is pressing the charges that you have to go against. You can't say, nah, I don't want to press no. They're not asking you that. The state is pressing the charges.
Well, I'm going to rephrase my original statement to what I said to King. Yes, I was in love with her. I'm not going to deny it. Why I didn't leave her? I don't think I was good enough for anybody else. I thought that was what I will end up with. I didn't think
That's
I was
fair.
good enough for anybody. I didn't think I was man enough for anybody else. I didn't think anything. I'm a good worker. That nobody can take that away from me. I know I'm an extremely good worker. If anybody knows me, I put 70 to 80 hours a week easily in because I'm that kind of person. I will sacrifice what I need to put my family first. But
You're panicked. Don't panic. You're good.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button.
that's facts.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being
And I was about to
honest, open, and transparent because
I was about to say that.
Yeah, these things
the
happen
reason-
in real life,
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't talk about it, or they don't say, "I don't think I was good enough for somebody else." You won't. You know, we don't know how many people are going to watch this video, so I appreciate you for being honest, open, and transparent because other people needs to hear this. They need to hear that other people go through it too, and it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to to have these conversations in a place where you feel comfortable. So I appreciate you feeling comfortable to share
The
that.
reason I want to tell my story, I hope somebody that is watching this one day and it helps them, saying, I don't want to be stuck in that situation for 3.5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, or whatever. They're able to get, you know what? I'm not dealing with this anymore. I can't. I need my exit plan.
You asked a question earlier, where do men learn love from? I wrote in the chat TV and church, but I also want to add, I was observing what I did and how that would make the lady, whoever I liked, feel, and was kind of just taking my cues off of that, really, when I think about it. And I'm curious how other guys would answer that question as well. That's a good question.
Well, we can talk about that next week as well. I wrote that in my
Yeah.
notes as a topic for us
Yeah.
to talk about. So we can definitely, cover that next week because I'm pretty sure that there's a history to that. I think you unconsciously learn how to love from your mother, and then it goes on from there. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that. But tonight we'll get into the final thoughts to wrap it up for this evening. I'm not quite sure if everybody has responded to the video, but you can definitely respond to the video and then wrap it up with some final thoughts.
Hank, did you respond?
Yeah, I already talked about the Charleston White.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you did. I remember now.
All right. Let's start with Pete down there at the bottom. Pete, you have final thoughts for us tonight, brother?
Yeah. If you're in a situation, it is an exit plan. If you feel you're not good enough for somebody, you are good for somebody. Have your support group. I know I have it. If you feel that you gonna get beat all the time and that's not what you want in love, you can get out of it. It is, I believe in everybody has their soulmate out there. You just gotta find it. It's hard to find it, definitely now these days, but you will find a good woman that treasures the same values, the same love, the same caring, same everything you do. You don't have to settle for a second.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll go over to Hank.
Man, figure out what you want in a woman. And after you do that, figure out what that woman brings to you. Figure out what you have as you interrogate this woman. Have standards. Don't move off of them. Don't adjust. Make her adapt. And you move accordingly. You move accordingly. You do not move off your set standards. And whatever your set standards, you hold to it. And if she can't go with it, then you keep it moving. Do not settle for less than what you deserve.
Sir Hale in the building. Thank you so much for that, Hank. I appreciate it. Sean, final thoughts for this evening?
Oh man, final thoughts. Let's go on the topic. Do women know their place? No, they don't. Unfortunately, most women don't know their place. I won't say women don't in general, but a lot of women don't. But in fairness, a lot of men don't know their place.
Mhm.
because we advocate similar things. What Charleston White said is something that I haven't heard in the talking points in a long time, but it's something that we heard years ago. But for some reason, we have missed it in this social media world and in this day and age and in this hip hop community and all of this stuff. We've missed those simple talking points that he just reminded us of. And not to mention, we also had a reflection of why it's missed because, as I said earlier, the women ideal identity of a man is that woman man who was next to Charles, who was saying that's why we don't need to have the males. Yeah, you're right because you've been hurt to where it hurts you enough to where you turned into a man, literally.
Yeah, I think she's a lesbian. I don't even think she dates men. That
Well, the
woman.
point being, and she probably doesn't now. It's a point of view that were you always that? Were you born that way, or did life change you to that? Which unfortunately, life has changed a lot of people,
Mhm.
and the hardships of life has changed a lot of people, and that's why I said, do we know our place? No, we don't often,
Mhm.
because life has changed. Women, I don't know her, so I don't know if she's one, but I do know a lot of women whose life has changed, and life has changed men
Mhm.
and created ideals. So um, some of the changes that it has made is that women are running around here uh, uh, going and calling themselves whores and sluts as it's a badge of honor. Men, they're
But they
going
don't want
around
that for their
calling
daughters.
right. They don't want it for their daughters, but they're going around calling whores and sluts as if it's a badge of honor, and men are going around calling themselves criminals and killers as it's a as if it's a badge of honor. So that's part of the changes that have happened, and we don't know our place. Our place is not a criminal, and our place is not a whore, and our place is not a slut. And until we understand and learn that, that's all we will be. I'll leave it there.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And King, closing words.
Hey, Precious, I loved what you did today. You started with the first video and the first example of the lady, the mom, who called herself a whore. She called herself one, right? And when you think of a whore, there's certain societal norms and expectations that goes around that word and how people will treat you. You
That's where
call
she
yourself
placed
a
herself.
whore, people are going to treat you like a whore versus what Charleston White said on the back end of your video today, right? That guy will say some ignorant stuff, but he also does have some gems. And one
Right.
of the gems that he said was, we no longer have people that are ladies. Those ladies that when they walk into a room or walk into a place, people tightened up because they had respect for them as a lady. Until a good bit of these ladies get respect for themselves, then the actions that they're going to be given are going to be actions of those of people that don't have respect for them as well. And those that do have respect for themselves, they're going to be snatched up quick by people that value that honor that, and that cherish that. That's all I have. I'll land my plane.
You guys did a great job this evening. Thank you so much. I thought, like I said at the beginning, it was going to be a good one. I believe tonight was a good one. If you guys have not, definitely hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this channel with someone. Share the videos that we do on Mondays. I'm trying to get a good interview. I'm trying to get somebody back on the channel. So y'all keep y'all fingers crossed because I want Judge Lynn Toller to come back and see us. So keep your fingers crossed. So I'm gonna try and get her to come back on the channel soon. But I definitely appreciate you guys on Monday evenings. Again, we come here to understand. We come here to, just listen and to see what you guys have to say on these topics and to get your perspectives because you guys are a good group of men. And we need these conversations. We need others to have different perspectives and say, oh, I didn't think about that. Or, I heard something this evening and I never heard it before. So I think this was a good one. You guys, I appreciate you. Next Monday, I do have down. We're going to be talking about where do guys learn love from, and to love and obey, and why the bride doesn't want to say obey. So we're gonna get into that a little bit next week. Until then, you guys, like I always say, be real with yourself so you can be real with others. Have a great Tuesday and good night.